Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Of Green Healing Show, and we are with Fiona Mao, functional medicine health expert and nurse practitioner. Chronic health challenges in children is our topic today, and we're gonna dig into it to see how we can recognize this chronic disease, how we can prevent it, and what is the best solution to prevent this kind of disease in children. Thank you so much for being here, Fiona.
Thank you so much for having me. Really, thank you.
Yeah. Welcome. All right, tell me about your story. Why did you end up to be functional medicine? I know you already have your master, and then you decide to be functional medicine as well. So it's a great integration. And most of the people that I interview, they already have their own problem and issues, and then get back to another holistic medicine, which is functional medicine right now for you.
Yes. So honestly, I wasn't even looking for functional medicine. It found me, meaning I was a mom. I have three daughters, and my middle child, she was delayed as far as like her development. Like she started crawling at 11 months. And then also she was nonverbal. And, like being that I have the medical background, I knew something was wrong. And she was my second child. So I was really just wondering what's going on? How can I help her? And like most of the time when I would take her to get her wellness checks and visits, everything I was being told was, oh, just give her some time, like she'll just grow out of it. But then, as a mom, you just know that something's not right. So that's actually what happened. I was just trying to help my child. And in the process, that's how I stumbled into functional medicine. I did not know about it before. No.
So, why did you choose functional medicine? How did you hear about it?
So I started just looking for help anywhere. I didn't even know what I was looking for. I just wanted anyone who would kind of show me anything. I was just open. So when we had her in like speech therapy at the time, and the doctors weren't really helping me, and like at the time I was an NP, so I'm like, I know there's not so much help here, but someone was saying, hey, what if you just try out, like do a hair test. So that's how I was like, hair test. I'm like, what? So I did a hair test and I sent her hair all the way to the UK. And it took about like a good month or so to come back. And then, it showed that my daughter had like heavy metals. And I'm like, how did she get these things? And, so that is how my journey started. Like I was just a mom just seeking to help her child. Yeah. So that's how I got into functional medicine. It was the hair test that kind of welcomed me into it.
Yeah, and finally, your child recovered from it, right?
My child now speaks, so I am so grateful to God, because that was my main concern, was that like she was 3 and she wasn't talking, so I had started functional medicine about 6 months before that. So it did take some time, but then finally my daughter is able to talk to me, because I was one of those moms that was like, is my daughter going to ever tell me that she loves me? Like, does she understand? My husband and I were really stressed out. Like we had no clue, because we would like look at her and talk to her, and it's kind of like blank, like like she's not there, but she's there. So it was such a stressful moment. I can't even lie. So I'm really grateful for functional medicine, because one, it wasn't complicated, and two, the answers were not so far, they were actually just within reach. But I just needed to have someone kind of show me how to go about it. So, yeah.
You know, a lot of chronic diseases starts from our childhood. And
Yes.
if we could prevent it, then it doesn't develop until adulthood, and then you know that's going to kill us, like
Yeah.
asthma and many other disease. You were
Yes.
so smart from the beginning. You could prevent it and you could work on it, because that's the worst part, when you see that your child is not speaking or have some problem. Like, I have a 3-year old daughter. I understand your concern.
Yes.
And yeah, that was your second child, but this
That
is my only child.
yes. Yes.
but
Yes.
but because that was your second child, you already knew
That's
that what you have to expect, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes,
that's
because
why.
yes, because my older child, she was just on top of everything. Like, she hit all her milestones at the right time. So I knew something was wrong with my middle child. Then the funny thing is, when I was learning about her delays and everything, I was pregnant, right? So for the third one. So so I was very, very stressed over that. And this is why I'm big in telling moms about not being stressed, because for some reason I could not differentiate them apart. And so I was worrying about this child. I was thinking, oh my goodness, will she be the same? She's not going to talk. And so I was really stressed out. And I think that played a role, because now the last baby, she has eczema. It's controlled and everything. But then I just had a time with those two kids, between trying to solve the eczema in this one and trying to deal with the developmental delays. It was quite something. Yeah.
But could you actually work on your third one with functional medicine as well to
Yes.
recover? Yeah.
Yes.
So how actually use functional medicine for chronic disease? I
Okay.
know you're doing it with your patient as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So there are many layers to functional medicine. It's not just one thing. And this is the beauty of it, because functional medicine does not just look at, oh, you have eczema, so we'll only deal with your skin and that's it. No, because what it does is that it looks at the whole person. It's not just one organ. So, for example, like with my daughter, the symptoms appeared on her skin, because like she had like the rough skin, like, and she used to scratch till she would bleed. And what I had to do was change her diet, and that played a very big role, just eliminating some things. And at the time, like, I didn't know, but as a mom, when you're breastfeeding and you're doing all these things, what you put in goes to the child. So if you're not aware as a mother that you because for like I had no I had no allergies. So for me, I can eat anything, right? And not know that it's bothering me. But then my child was not able to eat to kind of like digest all those things. So being that I'm the one that's helping her get her feeding, it's important that I kind of limit the things that I'm eating so she can have the right nutrients for her development. So with her, I had to change the diet as well.
Yeah, diet actually plays a very big role, and is not only um just a regular diet that you say unprocessed food or organic food. And I see, even for my own clients in fertility, um, you have to customize it, right? Based
Yes.
on the assessment that you get from the patient, you have to customize it.
Yes, and this is one thing that I do like about functional medicine. Yes, there are foods that, yes, you can eliminate, like they're the basic inflammatory foods. We have like gluten, dairy, soy, corn, nuts. But at the same time, you do not want to limit everything, because if a child can have it, why not? So the best way for you to know is doing a blood test, right? Because that way it's applicable for that particular individual. And then the other thing is, there's some hidden things that you may not know. For example, like you might find it may be like a shampoo. It may be something that's in a shampoo that's actually causing you to have the inflammation that shows up as the swelling or the GERD that you experience, or the lack of sleeping, the bloating. It shows up differently.
So you do the whole full assessment with your functional medicine skills with the child,
Yes, yes.
and then you order it through. I know, like GI and food sensitivity, you cannot
Mhm.
order it through regular channels, right?
Yes, yes, that is correct. There are other labs that you can, but not through conventional medicine. Conventional
Yes.
medicine, you have to go through
Hello.
sorry. Hello?
Yeah, we lost you for a while. So
Yeah,
you said
sorry.
we cannot order GI and food sensitivity through the regular conventional medicine
Yes,
labs.
yes, so regular medicine, what we usually do with regular medicine is we do like what's called IgE testing. And
Hmm.
IgE testing is one that shows like immediate responses. So for example, most people know like a peanut allergy, like you'll have like your lip swelling or you'll break out. But then when it's the food sensitivities, it's a delayed response. And so what that means is that the symptoms may not show up right now, it may show up even 2 days later. And so with that testing, it's not done with the traditional conventional medicine, but it's done with functional medicine. And that is what's really good about functional medicine, because it's not taken as seriously in conventional medicine. However, it does play a huge role in how one person heals.
Beautiful. Okay, tell me about exactly, like, give me an example, other
Mhm.
example of your patients,
Okay.
different disease of chronic illness, how you can discover it and how you could actually
Okay.
act upon. Yes.
Okay. So let's say you have a child that's going through some symptoms, right? Like maybe they're not sleeping well, or maybe you notice like in their stool, like it's not formed. You notice like it's kind of like broken up, or like they have um problem with focus, problem with concentration. They're using a lot of inhalers and things like that. Those are chronic things. The difference between chronic medicine and acute is, for example, if a child like breaks their arm, you have to take them to the hospital. So conventional medicine, it's very needed, it's important. But then for chronic health, there are other ways. And this is where I find functional medicine being very applicable, because what happens is when you're doing functional medicine, instead of just giving this child like just medications to kind of limit the symptoms, you get to go to the root cause. And the root causes could be so different. It could be maybe they have pathogens, they have parasites, it could be that you're feeding them the wrong foods, but you don't know it, right? And so how the body has to find a way of asking for help. And it does this by showing you that, hey, these are symptoms, like child is not sleeping, child is a picky eater. It's kind of giving you hints that there is something that needs to be addressed. And so functional medicine helps us go down there and figure out, okay, so why is this child having this wheezing, or asthma, or whatever it is. And when you take this child to conventional, they'll just be given something like an inhaler. So inhalers are good, we need them, yes. However, that is not going to fix the problem. The child will forever be, using those medications. And medications also do elevate the toxic load in our body, and that's not good, right? So the best way is to just, first of all, get down to the root of what's causing the symptoms, right? So if a child, for example, is having focus problems, most parents don't know to look and see, hey, is it food? You know, But you may find that, this child is being fed a lot of processed foods. You may find, they're having like orange juice, which you may think is healthy because it says orange, right? You may think but then you have to learn to look at the labels and find out the sugar content, things like that. You want to look for the artificial sweeteners and things like that. So you want to look at their stool, because if we look into the stool, it tells us a lot about what's going on in the body, right? And not just that organ that's acting up. So you look at the stool and you find out, oh, they need better enzymes, they need probiotics. It kind of shows you, oh, there's a pathogen here. So by doing a complete stool assessment, it helps us to know where to focus on, to kind of help us get down to the root cause. And then also another thing that's important is using blood work, we can look into their nutritional levels. So it's good to have supplements, but then you want to make sure that it's targeted towards the individual, towards the child, because you may find that you're giving this child a supplement that maybe has a lot of vitamin A, yet if you do the blood work, you'll realize, oh, they don't need all that much, right? What they need is more of vitamin D, more zinc. So it kind of helps when you actually take time and just do all the complete assessment and do all the testing.
Um, well, Fiona, what do you think about this Pediasure? Have you heard about it?
Yes, I've
Is it
heard
a
about
good one? But like sometimes my baby doesn't eat too much. She actually love specific foods, so she's
yes.
very picky. She doesn't, if it's her favorite food, she eats perfectly. But if she, I try to give her everything, but she doesn't. She refuses. So I
Pediatric.
try. Yeah, yeah. Tell me.
Okay. Pediasure is actually good. We use it quite a bit, actually, even in conventional medicine. It's used quite a bit. The only thing is that it's kind of high in sugar. I will tell you that. But then it's actually good as far as looking at the nutritional levels. However, there's other things that you could use that have like less sugar content. For example, like you could use Intermax in place of that. And that can also still help the child get the nutrients that they need. The only thing is you have to be sure to dose it accordingly, because, like most of the supplements come dosed for adults. So you have to make sure that it's reduced to a child's level.
So it's called Intramax, right?
Yes, yes, Intramax, yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Good, I learned
welcome. You're welcome.
something now. So we
Good.
just have few seconds break and we come back
Okay.
again.
Okay. Okay.
Please subscribe to Panta Calhoun Transition channel and order my book Naturally Conceived through Amazon. Thank you for watching. All right, we are back here now. Do you have any recommendation for parents who are worried about their children? And when they are like 2 year old, 2.5 year old, uh, parents are really afraid to take them to blood test. Uh,
Mm.
mm, because they are very fragile. So, what do you actually recommend?
Okay, so depending on how severe the situation is going on with the child, usually the first step is always a stool test. So that is not a blood test, and that is something that parents can easily just do at home, right? And based on that, there are some things, for example, if they're two and they're still breastfeeding, we can work with the parent and just let the parent know these are the main high allergy stimulating foods that you need to get rid of, right? And you can also teach this to the, if they're not breastfeeding, if the children right now are eating, you could just tell parents, hey, we could eliminate this. Now when it comes to the blood test, you want to do that if you're not getting results, meaning like if your child is still having the problems or the symptoms, you want to try and get down to the root cause. So yes, I know that parents may not like it, but then it's actually a good thing, to be able to solve the problem. But it doesn't have to be the first thing that you do, because you could always start with a hair test, so that doesn't have to do with the blood, right? And then you can also do the stool test. And between those two, you should be able to have a good bearing as well.
For how long they can have milk? I know you guys start with milk, and then we go for cow milk
Yes.
with the child. For how long they can use it?
Okay, so really, you're not really supposed to start with cow milk, really, until like they're a little bit older. But I know that some parents may not like it. But when it comes to cow milk, it's not one that I would recommend, to be honest, at the beginning, because it causes a lot of inflammation. Like it's such a huge protein, it's hard to break down and digest. So if I had to recommend, I'd recommend something like goat milk if they're not breastfeeding.
Mm.
Yeah.
What about when they are 3 year old? Because my daughter
Okay.
sometimes still
Yes.
consume
Yes.
milk.
Yes, no, if they're three and they do not have any gut issues, then yes, that is okay. You want to make sure it's kind of like the cow was grass fed. That is like the main thing. I don't know if it's easy to do, but then that would be the best. Like it's better to get it from like a farm or something like that.
Yeah, it's so difficult to find such a thing.
Yes. But then
Yeah.
there's good options like rice milk, so there are other things that you could use. Oh, it's just that
Yes.
cow milk is really hard. Like, when they're younger, it's really not advised.
Yeah, in all my shows, almost in all my health shows, I always say don't have, try not to have a dairy product, because even for my asthma, as soon as I remove it, it really improve my health. So I know how it works.
Yes, because it inflames. So what goes on with the asthma is that it forms up mucus buildup. The milk forms that up, and so it's the same thing. So if a child is going through like a chronic illness, you want to make sure that their gut is intact, and the best way to do that is to make sure that you're not giving them offending foods. So that would be why I would not suggest the dairy because of that. But if they're not really chronic, I would not really suggest any cow milk, even if they're like 6 years old.
Yes, yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, you have a website here, Fiona Mao.
Yes,
What do
ma'am.
you do on the website? Do you have any virtual mentoring or coaching or any assessment by internet? What do you do?
Yes, so I work with clients one on one, but I am in the process of forming a group program, and in this group program, I'm wanting to teach mothers about healthy options for their children. So this is something that I'm working on, and I'll be able to share in the future.
Yes, so if they actually access their website, what
Mhm.
they see and what do you do with this
Okay.
website?
So on the website, I work with moms and I also work with children. And on this website, I'm able to do the labs, like I mentioned. I send the labs to your homes, right? And then we do Zoom meetings. So this way it's a face to face. And I'm able to have like weekly meetings with you, and I'm able to kind of teach you about, how to clean up your house. I'm talking about toxins. I'm talking about like the dirty foods that are in your kitchen and your refrigerator. Like I'm giving you like education to know how to better help you help your family.
And that's fantastic because these are basics that many parents actually forgot. And
Yes,
they don't know how much mold they have in their house, how much
yeah,
dirt they have. Everything looks fine and very clean, but it's not.
yes. Including just even the creams that you put on your child. That also matters. Like you have to learn to identify the toxins that are even hidden within sight.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Fiona. I really enjoyed talking to you today.
Oh, thank
And
you.
hopefully, I wish you a lot of luck and success for what you do right now.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on your show. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thanks.